I have an article to share with you. Since earlier tonight, this is December the 3rd. Tonight, earlier, they shown a well-known retelling of The Wizard of Oz again. Remember the black version of The Wizard of Oz called The Wiz back in the 80s? Where it had everybody who you knew were the biggest thing. Were the biggest thing since bell bottoms and 8-track tapes. They all existed. That means Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, Scatman Crothers, Richard Pryor, Lena Horne. You name it, it was in The Wiz. Those people that I mentioned. Yes, I am pretty pissed off. And I'm just going to say this right now. I am pretty pissed off. Know why? Because this article is stupid. This article is far beyond the levels of stupidity for my dumb ass. And my idiotic ass is reading this shit right now. So, let's tear this thing a new one and forever regret ever seeing this shit in my goddamn face. The Wiz Live slammed as racist on social media for all black cast. Really? So that means to tell me that out of all the things you have never seen in the 80s, mind you, I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s, okay? So a lot of things I've been enriched by TV, thank you. I've watched things like Shogun by James Clavell. I've watched Roots. I never knew about it, but I've found it to be the most depressing thing ever known. That and Shaka Zulu, I'm sorry, but anything that I consider growing up, if it wasn't The Wiz, if it wasn't anything that basically, just for some reason, did not bring any kind of, positive light towards people of color, I didn't watch it. That's how it is with me. I just didn't watch it. Because we had too much of that shit going on in the 90s. We had, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, so many other movies out there that probably had negative outlook on urban lifestyle as a black person. Especially now, you got Straight Outta Compton, which is just a straight out of meme. Because we're dumb. We is the most butthurt generation there is. Yeah. You know what? Before I read this, before I go and tear this thing a new one, I'm doing this right now. I am drinking hot chocolate. I am not drinking tea. I'm drinking hot chocolate. And one thing I have to say is, tonight has been the most stupidest night ever known. Because not only did we have something like this happen, but we also had something about Konami banning the man who made Metal Gear and Snatcher. They banned him from getting his award. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Because the fans know that Kojima helped made Konami what it is today. It's the same thing with Capcom. Kenji Inafune, Shinji Mikami, they made Capcom what it is today. I'm just going to leave it at that. But we're going back to this article, as I said before. This is about the Wiz slammed as racist on social media for all black cast. Oh boy, what do these fools have to say? Some people on Twitter apparently don't know their musical history. Apparently not. Users took to the social media platform in the days leading up to NBC's broadcast, The Wiz Live, to decry what they saw as racist casting. I ain't never saw anything as stupid as this as what I'm reading right now. I've seen The Wiz once, and only the early version, which was in the late 70s, early 80s. I saw it as a kid. Didn't make sense of it. I saw it now. All I see is, oh, it's just a retelling of The Wizard of Oz. I'm an author. I have to have. I usually make sense of these things. Okay. The Thursday Night Live production featured an all-black cast led by Queen Latifah, David Alan Grier, and newcomer Shanice Williams. That is in keeping with the history of the stage musical, which has always featured a black cast, as well as the 1978 film starring Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. However, many users took to Twitch to voice their aggravation with the casting nonetheless. Because most of these dingleberries on Twitch don't have nothing to do but bitch and whine about this goddamn generation, because that's all this generation is. Nothing but a bunch of bitch whining butthurt ass hats. I learned there's a black version of The Wizard of Oz called The Wiz. How is that not racist? This is how I feel. Remaking something with an all-black cast seems a tiny bit racist. One user, after tweeting, "This is how I feel. Remaking something with an all-black cast seems a bit racist. Hashtag The Wiz." Deleted her tweet, then went on to explain the thinking behind that deleted tweet. I deleted the tweet. I was trying to bring awareness. No race should be proud after excluding other races. Not the original, not the remake. The response on Twitter during Thursday night's broadcast, during which hashtag The Wiz was the service's top trending topic nationally, to the earlier racist tweets, was overwhelming and inappropriate. Please have a seat somewhere far in a corner. The Wiz was an all-black cast. Do your research. Yeah. So white people mad because the Wiz cast is all black? Talking about what if we had an all-white cast of The Wiz? Y'all did The Wizard of Oz. Fellow white people, I need all of you to realize that we aren't fierce enough to perform The Wiz. We gotta stick to Oklahoma and stuff. And the shit goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Blah, 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 blah. Craig Zidane and Neil Marin executive produced NBC's The Wiz Live, with Kenny Leon serving as stage director and Matthew Diamond as TV director. This is stupid. I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. Because, my God, you've never seen a musical with an all-black cast before. Oh, wow, you've never seen a musical with an all-black cast before. Also, this generation is dumb as well as stupid. Also, you never heard The Wizard of Oz, huh? You never heard Judy Garland? So you mean to tell me you never heard Julie Garland? You never heard of Ray Bolger? You never heard of something that came originally from a book? I'm sorry. Apparently no one has ever heard of The Wonderful World of Oz. You've never heard that there has been so many different versions of The Wizard of Oz. It's ridiculous. There has been the one based off the book, which was called The Wizard of Oz, featuring Judy Garland. There was The Wiz that was based off The Wizard of Oz starring Judy Garland. And, of course, it starred with Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, and a cast of others. Okay? Oh, did I mention we also have an anime version of The Wizard of Oz? Oh yes, there's an anime version of The Wizard of Oz. Oh, and not to mention the fact that there is a sequel, a made-for-TV movie called Return to Oz. And then there's another one in which it basically has, I've seen this before, but it was basically like a different perspective, if you will, of the Wizard of Oz. And in this case, it's the Tin Man and the Scarecrow are looking for Dorothy, and they're in the real world. And strangely, most people know who they are and heard of Dorothy. Oh yes, there are many other versions of the Wizard of Oz that's out there. Do you know that the Wizard of Oz is made by L. Frank Baum? I swear, this generation doesn't know anything. And I said this before, and I said this earlier on Facebook, and I'm going to say this here. I'm going to say this not word for word, but exactly how my thought is. My thought goes like this. This generation knows nothing about vintage. They seem to shun at the fact of vintage stuff. That means anime, that video games, music, TV, stage, and musicals. Stage screen and musicals. All that, it's vintage. You don't see new stuff. This is nothing new to me. But when you think about, oh, you have to play the race card. Well, let me tell you something. I'm a Native American, okay? I may look black, but I don't really act black. Because there is no certain way to act black. I have friends of different colors, different creeds. Sure, they don't have the same kind of thinking, but they would agree with me that this is the most stupidest thing I've ever read. And this is the most stupidest article I've ever had to look at. Only because, oh, this is getting slammed because it's racist? Oh, let me tell you. There are plenty musicals out there, okay? There are plenty of musicals out there that have been noted as being the best damn musical that they ever been witness to. You have the Pirates of Penzance. You got the Wiz. You got the Lion King, which was also based off of Jungle Emperor Leo by the great master Osamu Tezuka. There has been plenty of musicals that I've seen that I didn't want to see, but I saw them anyway. The Wiz is one of those movies I just basically fall asleep on. It's second to Harry Potter. Harry Potter, mind you. I don't know why, but I just seem to fall asleep on Harry Potter movies. But that's besides the point. This generation, as I said before, is so goddamn butthurt. They would cry and bitch about the most stupidest of things. And there's another thing. Earlier on, I was told by Sheena that there was a video from Alpha Omega Sin who talked about some hashtag douche waffle nozzle face motherfucker who says we're too old to play video games. Well, let me tell you something. Let me fucking tell you something. Good hot chocolate. Let Let me fucking tell you something right now. Video games made our generation. Video games made our generation. We were 80s kids. We're all in our 30s. We're either in our early or middle 30s. Our group is like, in our 30s. So we all know about video games. We know about old video games. My channel, as you know, covers mainly old video games, but not afraid to go modern. I can go modern to a point, but I can also go to the past because I like vintage more than I like modern. That's how I am. That's how I grew up. Okay? Another thing is, as I said before, if you're going to do a video about somebody who just wants to whine and bitch about, oh, this generation don't need to play video games. Video games are bad. Let me tell you something. Video games to me have made me into what I am today. Video games, especially RPGs. RPGs is the cornerstone of what made me into what I am today, which is an author. That means I read novels. That means I can do stories. That means I can basically unlock anything I feel like unlocking because I have a limitless imagination in which everybody should treasure. You have a limitless imagination. Those who are in the video game industry make that their living to make sure we have something to play. Whether you're old, whether you're young, it doesn't matter. All this shit, everything that comes into play that I'm talking about. I mean, like I said, fuck this. I'm going to say this right now. Fuck this article. I'm not going to just go on this article. No, I'm going to go on a freaking tangent. I'm going to talk about this goddamn generation. Now, this goddamn generation is far too stupid. And yes, if you're so goddamn butthurt, well then I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Our generation was so much better than yours because we had something. It's called having a brain. It's called having a strong will. It's called having guts. We had a lot of guts back in the day. Okay? And the worst thing you could say right now is like, oh, you don't know the struggle's real. No, bitch, you don't know the struggle. The struggle is this. Us having this. We grew up on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Gear, Game Boy, TurboGrafx 16, Dreamcast, Saturn, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. We've been through all the known games and consoles that we ever touched bases with. Even Atari and Commodore. And I'm going to say this right now. Our generation was so much better than yours. I'm proud of my generation. This generation now has no pride. It has no pride in what it is. Because instead of just like being thankful that our generation basically said, okay, we're gonna step back and watch and see how this all turns out. What do I have to say to that? Would you kindly give us the keys back? Seriously, would you kindly give us the keys back? Nope, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for this stuff that we grew up with. Because stuff like this, I'm sorry, but you're going to basically slam, bitch, whine, or whatever you like to call it, the most, something that is probably the best damn fantasy adventure ever known. Yes, The Wizard of Oz. You're basically slamming a classic novel. That's all you're looking at. You're seeing a different version of The Wizard of Oz. Oh, let me tell you something else. You know what was another musical? Annie, based off of the Little Orphan Annie comics. Yes, with Daddy Warbucks. I remember the '80s version, and you know what? It was by far ahead of its time. And on top of that, well, like I said, it's the '80s version, so therefore you had more life. You had more of this. You had more of that, and then you decided, oh, let's make a black version of it. Again, is race that damn important that you need to make another version of it? What's wrong with the version you have? Oh, it's not enough for you. You got to make another version of it. I swear, it's like if somebody were to remake Cats. Oh yeah, let's have an all black cast. How the fuck would you know who's black and who's white? I'm serious. Who the fuck would know who's black and who's white? I mean, I've seen Cats once. I didn't understand it, but I just watched it. And I'll just say this. If things just get this stupid, I'm just going to just do this. I'm just going to go find a Sailor Moon musical and just go watch that. And just shoot the birdie to whoever just says, well, you don't like color. No, it's not the fact that it's about color. It's not the fact that it's about race. It's the fact that when you really look at the source material, you're really hating on the book it came from. And that's sad. Nobody should actually look down at a book. Probably one of the best books I've ever seen a movie ever based off of. I mean, there's also Paddington, which was also based off a book called A Bear Named Paddington. And then there was Winnie the Pooh, which was also based off of A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh series. Oh, there's also Peter Pan. And how many incarnations of Peter Pan are there? There are many incarnations of so many books. There are so many incarnations of so many books. It's like you got Stephen King's series, who made It, The Tommyknockers, Thinner. Shit, The Running Man. It was under a different name, but it's still Stephen King. And like I said, Peter Pan. Peter Pan had many different incarnations of itself. You had Peter Pan, the Disney version. You had Hook, Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. I'm counting anything that is considered Peter Pan. Oh, they even have Pan. I was like, hell, I ain't surprised that they made an anime off of Peter Pan. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. But in this case, the stupid thing is, what most people don't get, is that this generation is so damn dumb. Do you have to jump on goddamn Twitter, Facebook, or whatever your social media, or whatever it is you like to piss and whine and cry about over on social media? It's stupid. It's like this. You don't like it, don't watch it. Simple as that. You don't like it, don't watch it. Nobody's forcing you to watch it. Nobody's asking you to watch it. Nobody's telling you to do a book report on it. But apparently, no, I have to jump on social media because I'm so butthurt. Yeah, I'm butthurt. Fuck me up the ass, I'm butthurt. Yes, I wouldn't like to fuck you up the ass because you're butthurt. I like to punch you square the fuck out just because you're goddamn butthurt. And I've said this before. 2015 is the year of the butthurt. Because nothing else in this world matters because, oh, I'm so butthurt because of A, B, C, D, E, G. I said, oh, so you want some butthurt with a side of kiss my ass. What I feel matters, and you are wrong because I'm bloody bloody blah. And you should listen to me because I'm bloody bloody blah. You know what I'm going to do after this? I'm going to go play some video games. I'm actually going to go do some recording. I'm pretty much going to take some rage out on Chikan the Forever Man. And probably a few other games. And I will consider this video done because I am tired of all this stupid shit. So, if you do have any comments, if you want to rate this video with a thumbs up or thumbs down, I really don't care. If you rate it as a thumbs up, I'd be more surprised because of how pissed off, annoyed, and possibly angry I am. I'm not right now, but throughout the entirety of this video, I was. But yeah, this is stupid. This is the most stupidest article I've ever read. And I hope to God I never see another stupid ass article for as long as I live, but I pretty much will see it because the people at RC Industries, they love me. They love me to a point in which they had to send me some goofy ass article to read or something I need to share. Because, I need to be in the know of the world. Honestly, I can give a fuck about certain things that happen in this world because, God damn it. We have a generation of fucknuts. That's what we got. A generation of butthurt fucknuts. So I'm going to record some stuff. I'm going to forget this thing ever existed again. And I'll see you next time with possibly better videos than this piece of shit that I just wasted my time on. And don't apologize for it, because I'm not apologizing for it. Until then, I've been the Tenkaichi of gaming and otaku, and I'll see you next time with more videos. I'm out.